Okay, what's good, everyone? It's Nigel here, Trinidad Empowerment Network. So, firstly, I want to start by saying thank you to every single one of you who reached out to me, ask about my welfare, my well-being. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys, man. I'm good. I'm good. It's just a bit run down. You can probably still tell I'm suffering from a very bad cold. That's all it was. Overworked and underpaid is probably what resulted in me being run down. And but I'm good now. I'm good. Thank you to each and every single one of you who reached out to me and asked about my welfare. Mum, I'm okay. In any case, let's talk about a gentleman that I don't particularly enjoy talking about in Trinidad and Tobago. It appears that every time he speaks, he goes viral. You may have seen the video by now. I've got no doubt you would have. It's been circulated in Trinidad, and everyone's been mocking and laughing at him. I would choose not to do that today. I'd try and take the high road. But here's a video of Roger Alexander, the Minister of Homeland Security.
A U.S. warship has been spotted in the Gulf of Paria. Could you give us a little update on that in terms of whether permission was sought by the U.S. to enter Trinidad and Tobago's waters?
I have seen no ship. Nobody have sent any ship to me. So the only way I can answer that is I have no idea if there's a ship there. You see? If I saw a ship there and you see me present, then you ask me about the ship. I don't know. I have no answers for that at this time because I know I haven't seen any ship.
I did send you a WhatsApp earlier on today. I don't know if you saw it as yet, with a foreign media house pointing out the ship in the Gulf of Paria, a U.S. warship.
Well, the foreign media house probably needs to see me if they want to answer for me and ask me this ship and take me to the ship and say this ship I'm talking about. And that's it.
And any update at all you could give between the U.S. and the Venezuelan tension?
Well, I cannot speak to the tension. What I can tell you is this. The presence of the United States in international waters continues to benefit the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because now persons are hesitating, or there's great hesitation in persons bringing in guns, illegal drugs, and performing this act of human trafficking. That much I can tell you. No. So I continue to shower praises on them. Our borders was very porous over the years, and we have some friends or partners with us that is assisting that. What else can we say? What else can you ask for? It's all about making your country safe.
Now, you've seen the video. Let's talk honestly. Let's talk honestly, Trinidad and Tobago. Let's talk honestly, 10 audience. This is a Minister of Homeland Security, as you well know. He is a Minister of Homeland Security, the person responsible for Homeland Defense. And in this video, at least he's being honest, I suppose. At least he is being honest, saying he doesn't know about US military vessels in our waters in Trinidad and Tobago. He doesn't know. Again, I don't want to ridicule. I don't want to ridicule the man. God knows we do that enough. At the same time of not knowing about these vessels, he also claimed that the same vessels are reducing drugs and guns coming into the country. He doesn't know about the vessels, but he does know that the vessels he doesn't know about are reducing the guns and drugs coming into the country. Now, I'm trying my best here, 10. I'm trying my best here not to ridicule, because God knows, like I said, you guys do that online enough. Not the 10 audience, though. You are a bright bunch. And I'm not being condescending when I say that. You are a bright bunch. So when the person in charge of national security or homeland security, whichever way you want to put it, sounds confused, the nation should pay attention. It's either he's not being told the truth by the powers that be. They maybe think he's too illiterate to be told what's really going on. He's just there as a face. A face. He represents us, though. And that's the embarrassment, because this isn't a joke, Trinidad Empowerment Network. This is not a joke. This isn't gossip. This is our sovereignty that's being played with here. And if the Minister of Homeland Security does not know about boats coming into our country, then we are in deep. So let's talk about the numbers. He released a video again a few days prior to this video you just saw, where he talked about crime. Crime is on a downward spiral in Trinidad and Tobago. Crime is falling, according to the Minister of Homeland Security. Now, Trinidad, it brings me no joy to talk about this. I love Trinidad and Tobago. It's my country, despite not being there right now. I love my homeland, and I will return one day. I will return. Now, there's been 410 murders in 2015 in Trinidad and Tobago. 410 murders in 2015. In 2022, we saw an escalation of 605 murders. In 2024, we saw record numbers, 624 murders in 2024. No one wants to talk about this. The previous government has a lot of blame to take for this. This is why I have to be balanced in my criticism. Because 624 murders under your watch, you should take the blame for this. This is bad. This is not good. So no, crime is not suddenly improving in Trinidad and Tobago. Unfortunately, I'd love that to be true, 10. You know I do. But foreign military presence in our region is not a strategy. It's a sign of weakness. It's a sign that the government of Trinidad and Tobago, the governments, past and previous, have failed us. They say the definition of madness is doing the same thing whilst expecting a different result. And that's what we do in Trinidad and Tobago. We do the same thing over and over again, repeatedly, whilst somehow expecting a different result. It's not going to work. What we're doing now is not working. What we're doing now is not working. You know this. You know this, 10. So we have to find a different route. We have to find a different strategy. Now I digress again. You hear people in Trinidad saying that, well, at least crime is quiet. Well, you heard it from Roger Alexander himself. Crime has allegedly gone down. At least crime is quiet in Trinidad and Tobago because of the US military operating in the Southern Caribbean. We've seen no data, no facts, no statistics to back any of that. And yes, I understand why when you live in fear long enough and a show of power arrives on your shores, it feels like safety. Doesn't matter who it is. When you see the US military, it feels like, oh yeah, they're here to save us. But relief is not security. Dependence is not progress. And silence is not stability. Because when America leaves, which they will eventually do, what happens then? When the state of emergency is lifted, what happens then? If the only time citizens feel safe in Trinidad, if the only time we feel safe is when another country's military appears on our shores, that means our own system have failed. It means our system have failed us. In my humble opinion, I believe Trinidad still operates with a plantation mindset in that sense. That sort of is still in this backward mentality. The leaders of our country, who talks about punishment first instead of prevention. Punish instead of prevention. Send them all to jail. Lock them all up. And it sounds great. It makes you feel better. But does it work? No. We work on fear instead of strategy. Fear instead of strategy. We work on force instead of opportunity. Lock them all up. Throw away the keys. Is what you still hear people peddling in Trinidad and Tobago. Has that worked? If it worked, America would be the safest country on the planet. We still believe we can beat them with jail. We can send them all to jail. We can hang or shoot our way out of crime in Trinidad and Tobago. If that worked, Trinidad, like I said to you, America would be the safest country on the planet. They still have the death penalty in many states in America. They still have some of the toughest sentencing in America. Yet, the crime rate is astronomical. Go look at it. Look up the crime rate in America. The greatest country on the planet. It's astronomical because crime doesn't start with guns. 10. Crime does not start with guns. It starts with hopelessness, a lack of opportunity. It starts with hopelessness and a lack of opportunity. So I know when you see a young man on a bus robbing people in Trinidad and Tobago, I know how hurtful that feels. I know you want to grab hold of them and do something. I know how it feels. That's your emotion thinking. That's your emotion. That's a natural human emotion. I saw this on a bus recently in Trinidad, and I was angered by it. I felt angry just watching it. What are you doing? It hurts. And you want these people to be locked away for life, of course. You want them to face punishment. So I know, but what we've been doing has not been working. And what works, as we know, is jobs. Give people jobs. People need real work, not temporary contracts. And as great as CPEP are, we need them to keep the country clean and whatnot. We need government workers, of course, but we need real work as well that helps the economy. We need fair wages. If crime pays more than legal work, if crime pays more than legal work, crime wins all day long. We need fair wages. We need opportunities for youngsters, especially. We need opportunities for youngsters. Young people must feel like this country belongs to them. This is their future. They must feel like Trinidad and Tobago belongs to them, not like they are just surviving until they find a way to leave, to go to the United States, to go to the UK, which, for the most part, don't want them there anyway. They are all tightening their immigration laws as we speak. We need community investment. We need sports, training. We need mental health support. We need trades. We need agriculture. We need agriculture. We need entrepreneurship. We need to build stability. We need to give young people hope. We need to give them, loans to open businesses, to support their business ideas, to keep them in Trinidad and Tobago. We need transparency and accountability, 10. We need transparency and accountability, especially from government. We deserve clear information, not guesses, not speeches, not contradictions like you saw in that video. So 10, this is how nations reduce crime. Not with fear, not with force, not with brutality, not with locking people up and throwing away the key, but with investment. And if you've seen countries that work like that successfully, then show it to me, and I will change my tune. But I haven't. In all my research, I haven't. So I would say this again, 10. Despite what we hear from our Homeland Security Minister and whoever else, Gary Griffin or whoever else, we cannot arrest our way out of crime in Trinidad and Tobago. We cannot arrest our way out of crime. We, of course, cannot outsource our security to foreign forces. We cannot outsource our security to foreign forces. And indeed, we cannot move forward whilst our leaders speak in confusion and contradictions. Trinidad and Tobago, we deserve better. We deserve better. We deserve better leadership. We deserve leadership that knows what's happening in our waters at the very least. If this man is unaware or unsure about what's going on, then why is he in this position? If the people at the top are not passing the information on to him as the Homeland Security, then we are in a lot of trouble, 10. Trinidad deserves strategy, not reaction. Strategy, not reaction. And of course, we deserve opportunity, not fear. Opportunity. People need opportunity, not fear. Like I said to you, if crime pays more than actual jobs, if crime pays more than actual legal work, then crime wins all day long. Because when people have hope, when you give people hope, they protect their nation, 10. And when people have something to build, they stop destroying. So I'll end by saying this, and thank you if you've stayed to the end. I'd end by saying this country isn't beyond repair. Far from it. This country is not beyond repair. Far from it. It's simply waiting for leadership. It's simply waiting for leadership. Real leadership. I've taken enough of your time. Thank you for liking and subscribing to Trinidad Empowerment Network. Thank you for checking on my welfare. I'm good. Look after each other. I'd keep my ear to the ground and I'd bring you the best information as possible, as I typically do here on 10. Please like, please subscribe to Trinidad Empowerment Network, and I'll see you guys on my next video. For now, much love. God bless. Take care. Peace.